Did that go? I didn't hear it. Yeah, it's going. Okay.
I heard it earlier.
Oh, that one is for my note taker. So there's
Oh,
like the
okay.
recording and then my note taker recording. So it maybe it doesn't notify me when I turn on the recording if my note takers are going, but yes, so today we're talking about mental clarity in a tech overload world, which I feel like we are all guilty of this, whether we work on the computer, whether we come out and veg um, at home when we get home, whether we're scrolling on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, there's Paramount Plus, there's everything out there, there's subscriptions for anything. So a lot of our entertainment defaults to the computer, and a lot of our work tasks also defaults to the computer. So no matter where you are during your day, there's a lot of tech overload. Um, so today, we're going to be talking about how we can really help our brains with all of this tech overload so that we can live a calmer life. So tech overload is real. You know, we've got phones, notifications, and that's another thing. When I am sitting here trying to work on my computer, or if I'm, talking to a friend on the phone, there's always a notification going off. And then it brings my attention away from what I'm doing. And then look, Mary Ann's saying something, I think. Um, Oh, nope, I got a notification from my AI thing. See, I got a notification while I was talking about notification. That is a great example of how we are way overloaded with notifications. And you have to bring yourself back to what you were thinking about. I see a lot of people, it's not just, I mean, it's so common that people are like, wait, where was I at? Because it's so easy to get interrupted. Emails, social media, multitasking, scrolling. I know I don't do the dishes without having a screen on anymore. Like that's just not a thing. Or at least a podcast going, so I'm listening to it in the background. So we are doing stuff all day long, multitasking. Our brain is overloaded. Your brain is drained, exhausted with this constant input of information. So, anxiety, sensory dysregulation, or feeling wired is something that we see all the time. And we're seeing it more and more, and we're understanding what this sensory dysregulation is. Before, it would just be like they're misbehaving, they're not doing what they should. But now we're understanding no, this is an actual physiological problem that their nervous system can't calm down on its own. It needs outside supports. So we're on edge. Maybe you're actually like snipping at your family or friends more than you would normally. Meltdowns. I mean, like literal like crying, screaming, tantruming. It seems like tantruming, but it's like literal. I can't deal with this, or the other is cocooning, so hiding in your bed, going to the bathroom more times than you should because you're trying to hide from your family, especially if you have little ones. This is all based on that overwhelm that we feel. And then brain fog is one of the big things that happens. I know, especially when you're a mother or you have a lot of things going on, you start forgetting things more easily. You have trouble focusing. You can't actually do the tasks that you need to do or even enjoy the tasks that you want to do because your brain is always somewhere else. And so, these are all signs of tech overload, and your brain, it's not broken, but it's overstimulated for sure. So, what your brain needs right now. So, the problem is your nervous system. What our nervous systems were not designed for all this tech. Like, we get more stimulation in one day than we used to in months of outdoors and back in the day survival. Think about like when, like the cavemen were around that yes, they did have to be constantly aware of predators, but they would get in a group and some people would stand guard while the others could rest. And so the people that were resting could actually take a break. And so there wasn't as much to be worried about. So now the solution might seem a little bit simple or basic, but there's a powerful way to restore that balance, and it's spending more time outside so your nervous system can slow down. I have seen on TikTok, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's grounding mats, and it's very ironic. But what is that grounding mat doing? It actually takes the pulses from the earth when you actually put your feet on the earth and puts it into a mat so that you can stand on it and calm down and re-regulate yourself. While I do believe that that probably is very powerful, you know what another alternative is? Walking outside, getting yourself outside, sitting down on the ground, putting your feet on the ground, and actually interacting with nature. The other thing is, we don't look far distances. When you're inside, you are looking maybe to the other side of the room, maybe across, maybe you even get like 100 feet, but you're not getting miles. You're not looking miles away. And so I do think there's something that that switches when you start looking farther away. You're realizing when you are stressed out, you're looking at things really close because you got to make sure that you're protected at all sides. But when you're looking at a distance, you realize that you can relax and be more safe. It is proven that it actually lowers cortisol stress when you are outside. It restores attention and focus and the ability to concentrate. So you're not switching your brain constantly from one thing to the next. It improves mood and clears fogs and uplifts spirits. Sometimes the brain needs a little space to breathe again. So here are different ways that we can start implementing this. So you don't need a full weekend retreat. It could be even 10 minutes outside can shift your nervous system. So I'm not saying you have to go on this huge trip every weekend. That seems more stressful and more overwhelming at times, especially if you have a busy life. You've got children, young children, or a lot of obligations. But going outside, walking, hiking, biking, do what you enjoy because that's going to bring you closer to nature. Maybe you like sitting near the water. Actually, there was a study done with people by the water that live near the water, and they said that they were less likely to have depression. So it shows you that water is super powerful. So looking at water, swimming, boating, and if you're just not that type of person, then even just listening to the water rush by, a creek or a river, a small river. The big rivers, they're not that loud, but just watching it go by. It's really important to really watch that water. And
Yeah,
then ground yourself. What
yeah,
is it?
my dad has a koi pond in the backyard with
Mm-hmm.
turtles and a small waterfall. And there are times when I've just, even at night, I'm like, no, I need to, I leave my phone in my pocket and I just go outside and I sit down and I'm like, okay, I can
Yes.
breathe. It's just even 10 minutes outside, depending on the weather, it gets a little more relaxing. I
Yes.
just breathe, even if I can't see the pond itself because it's dark and it's never dark here because there's always lights somewhere.
Yes.
Like, okay, just a tiny bit of a little more breathing room.
hmm And
And
I
I try
do
to,
think there's also a part of like the fresh air. Like
yeah,
I notice when you're outside, you're in nature, that fresh air, you're like, oh, I didn't realize how like stagnant my air was in my house, You think
yeah.
about like it's circulating through those air vents. You never know if there's like dust or particles in those air vents, but outside it's
I
clean.
can only spend so much time outside if the wind is up because my allergies go absolutely
Yeah.
bonkery.
Yeah.
But I do try, and I'm like, and sometimes I've gotten at work where I'm like overstimulated. It's too people-y inside because people are being rude. And
hmm
I said to my manager, "Oh, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check something. I don't know what it is I'm checking outside, but I'm checking something."
Yes, I'm checking my reality because I'm about to check somebody else.
Yesterday, she sent me out twice. We have this part where we have to spend 30 minutes outside, and she called me in early to help her with some customers, and I told her I'm gonna go back outside now. She looked at me and she'd seen I had so close to bitch slapping a customer. I was within, my hand was up, and I'm
You're like,
like, all
I'm
right,
going.
I'm going outside now. I'll be back. I'm gonna go check some stuff.
I didn't
I'm
get my
sorry
30
now.
minutes.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going outside. Oh God,
Right.
it was bad. Yesterday was
Yeah.
a bad day for my stress level.
Yeah. I get it. I mean that, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing more people, less plants, less nature, less even animals. We see
Oh
our
God,
pets maybe at home, but and then grounding yourself by putting your barefoot in the grass if it's warm outside, or even if it's not. The other day we went to a waterfall and I put my feet in the ice cold water, and I was like. I wanted a picture and it turned out terrible because I couldn't stand there very long. But afterwards I did feel more rejuvenated. It was almost like an ice bath type experience.
yeah.
Those kids were walking through it like nothing. I was like I like asked one of those kids, I was like, "Are your feet not cold?" And he's like, "No." Okay. Okay. They don't hurt.
Yeah, it's weird. I think cold is it's not so much a relative term, but some people are absolutely freezing when it's 60 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And some people we're like, okay, it's comfortable. I'm not sure why you're wearing a snow parka, but it's
Yeah.
comfortable.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
other like, it's 90 degrees out there and they're acting like it's 70 and I'm going, I'm dying. It's all a relative
They've
term
had
of how well you can control it.
Marianne
And you're
said
not
that
really
they're younger, they have better circulation. That might be true too.
That might be very true as well.
Yeah.
I'm
And they're
55.
country kids. They were country kids. I was deep in
Oh,
West Virginia, so they might
no,
be
they're
in the
used to
creek all the
that.
time. Yeah.
They're like standing there looking at you like, what's wrong with it? It's comfortable.
Like I'm about to swim. What are you talking about? Yeah, so herbs help support and clearing your mind as well. Of course, I'm going to bring the herbs into it. You know me, guys. So I did bring up four key benefits that herbs can help. We've got memory, focus, mental clarity, and then reducing that mental fatigue. So, for hundreds of years, herbs have helped with mental clarity. So, let's look at a few. Bacopa, I don't know if this is one that you are have. Oh, Kayla, I didn't realize you're here. You don't think the temperature check affects children as much. I was super sensitive as a kid though because I would get like headaches and sick really easy with cold. But I run cold, I guess. Now that I'm older, I run hotter, but anyways, Bacopa is an Ayurvedic herb. It's great for calming and focusing. This one is great for that cognitive overwhelm. Um, so it's good for memory foundations, information processing. So, I think of the brain as yes, you have that long-term memory, but you have your working hands. And if your working hands aren't processing, that's when you can't switch from one thing to the next. You can't think about multiple steps. That's when your processing is slowing down. So this is great for that processing part of your brain, but also to retain it. And so we process it and then we push it back. So it's got both of those parts. It's great for calming that mental overstimulation. So this one as a whole has really great a great diverse has a lot of diversity there. So, what makes it special? People often notice Bacopa supports clear thinking without feeling the wired or jittery. Because I would say Western, at least over here, we go to tea, coffee, like black tea, white tea, I mean, black tea, green tea, matcha, which is also a stimulant, and even ginseng. But those can cause that jittery, wired feeling, while this one gives you that mental focus without that jittery, wired feeling. It's often described as a calm cognitive enhancer. So, this is one I haven't tried, but I'm really interested to try it. Lion's mane. So this one is a great brain support mushroom. So we have, it's great for growing more neural pathways, or more, sorry, more nerve growth. Let me correct myself. More nerve growth. So when we think about the brain, there are only certain ways to get to certain things. And if you have a pathway that is blocked, then it will take you longer to think about it because it's like you gotta go around the corner and down the street to get to the same place you could just go across with a highway. So it basically puts better highways in. So this is a really great way to help your brain function better. It supports sharper, and more organized thoughts. Oh, you take my lion's mane. Do you like it? It reduces brain fog, it supports and lifts the mental haze and slows you down. It improves mental clarity, and many people use lion's mane when your brain feels foggy and mentally drained. So, Goju Cola. This one is I would say it's the most intense circulation boost that I have experienced. Maybe kava is pretty close. Yeah, seems to help me come to what I'm doing and not get sidetracked. Okay, yeah. That would yeah. That right there is nice, especially if you're doing a business or if you have multiple things you need to get done during the day. Staying focused is super important. So ginkgo biloba is known for its improved blood flow to the brain, as long as it's used to help or and has long been used to help slow confusion. So what it does is it helps oxygen go to the brain again, I mean, blood, but it helps with the oxygen, the nutrients, and the support. You know, the blood is the veins. It's like the highway to bringing those things to your brain. So if you don't have that, then it can lack some of these. So it really helps push that in there. Now, I will give you a little warning. If you have migraines, this may not be a perfect fit for you, because it does increase blood flow to the brain, which might increase the likelihood for a migraine. So just be very careful with this if you do have migraines often. This
My
can help
ginkgo because of
support,
that.
what is it?
I have to limit my ginkgo. I mean, I've noticed that it increases the frequency of them. So
Yeah,
I usually make sure I don't have too much of it.
yeah,
So
yeah. So you might need a reduced amount. Yeah, for sure. And this helps support concentration, memory, and clear thinking. Okay. And then gotu kola. This is probably one of my favorites. I love this herb because it gives me more mental clarity without giving me the headaches. It's a little bit milder, but it does increase blood circulation. But I don't feel like, I mean, in personal experience, I haven't seen a study done on this, but in personal experience, I have noticed that it hasn't caused more headaches for me. It does help with mental focus and helps you stay on task without straining. There is a calm concentration so that you're not so scattered and overstimulated. So again, this is why it works so well for that overwhelm of the tech. It helps push the brain harder, go to cola, or rather than pushing it harder, it helps support a clearer and calmer thinking. So, um, so from a scattered to a centered, a clear path. So we want to navigate from the scattered to the clear thinking. I need to get clear on my thinking. And I'm just gonna be real. When I was growing up, I had a lot of problems with focus in school, learning. I mean, I had a learning disability. I had a lot of problems with learning and focus. And so that's why I've studied these herbs for so long. I have really dedicated a lot of time to these herbs because I wanted to solve my own problem. Like I had a problem. And so, and also my grandmother had dementia and my son has ADHD. My brother has ADHD. My mom now claims that she thinks she might have ADHD, which I could kind of see as well. And so all around me, I have these people that are really struggling with that clear mental focus. And so, I can see that they have this constant battle. And me, I've had in the past a constant battle of brain fog that reduces attention span. It is difficult with memory recall. And when you have this problem with memory recall, um, it causes a lot of other issues, like problems with people thinking that you don't care about them because you forgot something, like they're something that's important to them or something that they would think, oh, well, you just don't care about me because you didn't remember. But it's like it's really about the brain and not about whether you care about them. But it also can cause a lot of self-esteem issues because you're like, why can't I just remember this? I'm a bad person because I don't care enough to remember. You were diagnosed with ADHD in October and your grandmother's dementia too. See? Yeah. And I feel like it's happening way more than it's ever been, or maybe we're just more aware of it. It affects a lot of people in multiple levels. Yes. Feeling scattered and easily overwhelmed, like forgetting where your keys are, forgetting about appointments, forgetting to dress your kids up in leprechaun stuff. I don't know, like I said Happy St. Patrick's Day to my son right before we went to bed. Now he doesn't go to school, but the thing is that there's things that you're trying to keep. There's always something that you're trying to keep a handle on, and it is very difficult when your brain is foggy. And so, but when we start connecting back with nature, we can have some sharper focus and sustained energy. This is going to help support our memory and our information processing and making it easier. So, achieving that calm or more organized thinking and reducing that overwhelm, this is going to be great for us. It boosts mental energy and reduces cognitive exhaustion. And it's also can help you cultivate a peaceful, clear mind through daily ritual. So just having that daily ritual. If we can get something in a ritual, I know with ADHD it is harder. So, but it's not impossible. It's like there's that catch-22 with ADHD because they thrive on, the chaos. But if they have a more planned life, it's actually better for them to focus and think. But they don't want to stay in that because it's hard, which I mean, I understand. I I sometimes wonder if I'm not ADHD too, but I'm at least somewhere on that spectrum, closer to the ADHD than the neurotypical, I'd say. But having that peaceful, I know what's going to happen and I know how to respond is super important with any brain functioning. So this is why I created mental clarity. It's a module, but it's also a program. This program is really going to teach us about different ways of how people have dealt with it through traditional medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic herbalism, and Western herbalism, as well as alternatives, because I do believe that herbs are super powerful, but also we need some of kind of like what I talked about today, some of the nature parts. There's some focus strategies. So I'm also going to add those into this module so that you leave with more of a round picture of what you will need when you're dealing with any type of brain fog. Also, we're going to talk about two bonus modules, which is an ADHD specific herbs that are going to help with focus and strategies with that. Also, for dementia, if you're starting to feel like you are getting some signs that you might be having dementia, someone in your family, these are going to be herbal support that help based on studies for dementia, as well as blends for each one of these categories. So you're going to have blends. And so This is going to be a full package that isn't going to take a lot of time to get through, but you're going to have a lot of reference material as well um, as a live presentation. So if you end up hopping in today, then you will also get a personalized taste guarantee. So if you don't like any of the blends that I've made, then we will hop on either a Zoom call or a text, whichever you prefer, or a message. And we will problem solve a better tasting tea for you. Because sometimes if we are going to have to drink something every day, or our kids are going to have to drink something every day, we need something that tastes good. So, I just wanted to say this is going to be something that is offered if you hop in today, so we can make sure that the blends are actually something you're going to want to ingest as well. Which I try to make them something that I would drink, which I'm picky, but everybody's different. So the value of this, we're gonna get a Mental Clarity's Foundations, which is $47 worth. And then we've got three traditional found uh three herbal traditions. That's 67. We've got the herbal blends framework, which is 37. Then the brain support practices. Um, and we're also, I forgot to tell you, we have gonna have a brain fog tracker so you can see whether these herbs are working for you or not and kind of tweak it as you need it. And then we are going to have ADHD fog strategies. We're going to talk about the dementia. Those are both 27. And then the herbal blends for mental clarity, which is a value of 200 or $302. But I want this to be accessible. It is probably just as much information as my phytochemical, which was way more expensive, but I want this one to be available to a lot more people. So I did make it $27, which is basically a steal. But that's okay because I want you guys to have this available to you. And the price does go up to 37 on Friday, but um, this is this is the package of mental clarity. There's so much in there, and I cannot wait to share this with you guys. It's going to be super fun. But the path to lasting mental clarity. So imagine your life with where there's mental fog, where the mental fog and scatter thoughts are distant, or you have a more manageable life. Because sometimes it's not about like, okay, well, I'm perfect, because nobody's perfect, but better than you've ever been in your life. And that's where I'm at right now. And so I want to guide you to get there as well. So unwavering focus, so mastering your attention, staying present, and achieving tasks that you would love to achieve. Um, it's a one-time cost. Actually, you get this one in your VIP though, Tamara.
Oh, good.
Yes, yours is free. Yours is all included. That's the best thing about VIP. Like you get everything that I'm bringing up pretty much. Only the 6 week ones you don't get. So, so whenever that one unlocks for everyone, you get it. So, and then, which actually, yeah, I should unlock that pretty soon. I just have a couple more things to add. And then you get sharper memory, improve recall, information and processing, enhance well-being, and deeper connections with family, and improving daily function with a happier life. So you'll gain actionable steps so you can and personalize blends so that they can empower you throughout the day and move confidently without overwhelmed and experience sustained mental clarity. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link there, and then I would like to ask if you have any questions about the program, that's totally fine. Love to answer those. But also, like, I know you've used lion's mane. Is there any other herbs you guys have used and you have liked? Anything, um, have you played around with herbs that um, for mental clarity?
No, I haven't begun to research it yet.
Okay. I don't know if you can. I know, Marion, you look unmuted, but I know you've been chatting. And Kayla. I know though you have used herbs, but not specifically because you knew they were for mental clarity in your DM. You're on your phone. Yes, I can do that. I can send that over. Um, but this one is one I love the phytochemical one because, I love to geek out about plants, but this is one that I've studied for a really long time because I love herbs that help. I get overstimulated easily. I've always had mental clarity things in school, trying to focus and things like that. And so I've always really tried to study
Yeah.
these.
Yeah. When I was younger, I'm looking at the symptoms of AD as, and I'm realizing I might as well be the poster child for some of these, not all of them, but some of these.
Mhm.
And looking back when I was in, elementary school and junior high school, some of these made it so difficult for me.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, why aren't you, it's like I couldn't sit there and go on my homework, sit there. I would be sidetracked by every littlest thing, and I would flit from subject to subject to subject to subject. And like when I got into college, that's why I make the flashcards that I do. Because I
Yeah.
can do the making of them and I do them in small bursts of
Mm-hmm.
energy, I guess, and I
Yeah.
do that. And it's why my lists are so important to me. It's like half the time I make a list of stuff to do, and my first one is make a list. You
Yeah.
know,
No, I get that.
it's,
No,
it's I never even thought about it, and I knew people who had this, and combining this with my
well,
OCD issues, it's a
I feel like when we were younger, I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're my age, but okay, so you're a little bit older. So yeah, when it was boys that couldn't sit still were the only ones that were with ADHD if they were
exactly,
diagnosed. And it was even rarer
exactly.
then. So now we're seeing that women actually do it more internally. Sometimes they do it externally, but it was never really diagnosed. And there's a lot of 30, 40, 50-year-old women that are now getting diagnosed. Like Kayla was saying, she just got diagnosed. I don't know how old Kayla is. I don't know how old you are. Oh yeah,
37.
yeah, she's 37. Yes. So exactly. So we're getting diagnosed a lot later, but it was the same thing. It always was the
Yeah.
same thing, but we just didn't know.
Yeah, why can't you sit still? You're not
Hmm.
behaving right. I'm like, even now, I cannot sit. I'm always
Fidgeting.
moving,
Yeah.
fidgeting. I have
Yeah.
fidget spinners because I can't stop moving.
Yeah.
I pace on the phone.
Yep.
If I'm talking to somebody, I start rocking, just slowly back and forth because it's like,
And this is something we can add to like some of your herbal blends that we talked
oh,
about
that's good because we
too.
might need to do
So,
that.
yeah. I haven't finished making your recipe, so I can do that. I'll make sure that there's some in there for
Yeah.
that. And then, yeah, you said, okay, this is interesting. Kayla said that ginkgo didn't seem to do anything, and then Marianne said it was too much. And that is exactly how herbs work sometimes. It's like some people it does not even affect, and then other people's is too much. For me, ginkgo was too overstimulating. I got migraines. I actually got nauseous. It was pretty bad. Um, so it's Kayla, by the way. Yes. Oh, Carla. Oh my goodness. I've been seeing Kayla. Sorry, it's Carla. Whoops. That's funny. My mom's name is Carla with a C. So that's funny. But I need to get some of my mental clarity herbs over here, Carla. She's like, excuse me. You say my name wrong. But yeah, you were it was like until burnout. Yeah. Yeah, and then lion you like lion's mane. I like lion's mane, and reishi is another one that I enjoy. I really want to try bacopa though because I love Skullcap, and they talk about how it helps with sensory overload, and they talk about how Bacopa does too. So I'm really interested to try that one, and it's not as talked about around here. So I would like to try that one. So, well, ladies, it was super fun to chat with you. I love geeking out about plants. Do you have any more
I'm glad
questions
I was
for you?
here for this one.
Yeah, right? And
And but
Carla showed up. I haven't seen you hop on any other live, so how long have you been in the group, Carla? I've seen your image. I know I've seen your comment a few times, but not long. Okay, cool. Cool. I only have like the live ones once a month. But then if you're in the Wild Path Monthly, then we have weekly lives. And then
hmm,
the good old VIP, you get weekly, but then also you get a one-on-one. So that's super fun
I
as well.
suggest joining. I like this. It's
Yeah.
so informative and helpful.
And if you do hop into this one, you get to have an opportunity to get into the VIP. I closed it down after you got in. So it's been closed for a while. I only open it every once in a while. So it is going to be available to be hopped in, if you purchase this one. So, but, you'll get that information if you hop in afterwards. It's all set up. But yeah, the VIP you can get. There's just so much in it. You get pretty much all the modules, and except the 6-week courses, that are live. And then, you get everything that's in the Wild Path, and then you get a one-on-one with me every month. So there's so much in there. There's so much in there. I could talk for days. But I feel like every time I talk to you, you're like, that's in it too? Okay. Right.
For, for those of you who have um, ADHD, I have a weird question. If you're like someone's talking to you, and you're also reading and or listening to the TV, which I have done all three at once, and they ask you a question, you can't you it's like you're not focused, but if they get your attention, you can tell them exactly what they have been saying.
Sometimes, like sometimes I'll be like, "What?" And then 3 seconds later, I'm like, "Oh, let me answer the question because I already heard, what you
Because
said."
I did that with my husband. He's like, "You're not paying attention to me." When my focus turns on him, I'm like, "I can just tell you everything you just said and do it
The way
verbatim,
here.
literally
Yeah,
verbatim."
yeah.
But I didn't have enough concentration to answer the question.
It's like you've got I talked about that hands thing. I think about this when I think about a computer processing too. Like they have to have RAM, and your computer is processing with the RAM, right? Your computer, your brain is processing here. Well, it's got this one over here that is processing what you're saying, but you're really over here with the actual thing that you're thinking
Right.
about. And so you can call upon this one, but it's not one that you're actually focused on. You can be
It
like,
that's
bring it
what it
in.
feels like. I've got three tabs open. I'm watching or three
Yeah.
windows open. I'm watching all
Hmm.
three windows. I observe, I understand, I can know what three windows, but my focus is on the fourth window.
So yeah, maybe you should look into getting time. I'm not saying that you are because I don't diagnose people, but it might be something to look into.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the
and I
one that
will say trauma does look a lot like ADHD, like any trauma in the past. So because this is your nervous system is on high alert when you have trauma, right? And so your brain has to think quickly, and it doesn't always focus on things for a long time because it's like something might be threatening over here, so you have to be constantly on the go. So a lot of people that have trauma also have ADHD, or the trauma looks like ADHD, so there's both of those.
I've been looking, I'd have to do a side by side comparison between the symptoms of trauma and the symptoms of ADHD, but it's like the hyperactivity and impulsivity. I'm like, it gives you nine of these. I'm like, oh wait, I do that one and that one and that. Okay, I just do all nine. All right, never mind.
Marianne said multitasking is highly overrated. Yes,
I've
you're
learned
correct.
that I like to think I can, but something always falls by, and I'm like, no, I mean just narrow this right here, and then I get, oh, look, I have to go do that over there.
Yeah, looking at all directions at once for threats.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
why my lists are so important because
Hmm.
I go back to go back. Okay, I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I would say lists, checklists, alarms. I use alarms constantly. Like if I don't have an alarm set for this thing, I'm gone. Like I can't remember it. So, I mean, there are certain things that are set up too that and we'll talk about that more in the mental clarity
yeah.
module. So you'll be in that too.
Oh yeah.
Um, so
Yes,
but
I see you.
there's all kinds of strategies and tips outside of that as well. That's why grounding is so important. Yes. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, this is one of those things that's gonna probably explain a lot.
Yeah.
And if I can figure out how to work within it, I might be able to make some things easier for myself.
Yeah. And I mean, your aromatherapy too, all those grounding herbs as well.
Oh yeah, I have my
Too.
I have my diffuser going right now.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. Well, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging in here with me. If you have any questions about this, about herbs in general, I'm always available to you guys in the community. Um, if you don't end up hopping into the monthly or whatever, I'll see you in the community or next month in um, our live free event. So I appreciate you guys, and I hope to see you soon.
All right, bye,
I'll talk to
Mary.
you later. Bye bye.